Just usual pumping through the TikTok and then get going here.
Figured as much.
And they got some people coming in here for some questions for you, Jackson, and then I'll let you walk them through how to get their teams rated on here.
Cool. Yeah, okay, let me check out these questions first. Should I trade Pittman and Terry for Marv? I think you're giving up too much for Marv there. I do think it's generally good practice to go for Marv now because he had a bad first week. Superflex PPR trade. Get Rice, Daniels. Give McLaurin, T-Law, and Worthy. See, that one is kind of close for me. Wells, what do you think about that?
We're live on YouTube here. But yeah, which one?
Rice and Daniels from McLaurin, T-Law, and Worthy.
No, I'd keep Rice and Daniels.
That's what. I was gonna say the Rice and Daniels side. DJ Moore for Marv.
Yeah, I want Marv. Marv's gonna go nuclear this weekend.
Yeah,
like that's the fun upside with that play. He's got a really good matchup. With that said, let's dive into the first team here. So we've got Josh Allen, David Montgomery, Kenneth Walker, AJ Brown, Justin Jefferson, Jake Fergie, Sad Boy Hours, Deontay Johnson, Jaden Reed. The Saints defense, that must have been a really fun start this past weekend. But I wouldn't have been as interested in playing. Who else do you have on here? I mean, yeah, you would have had to play Deontay Johnson regardless. But I would have tried to find somebody else so not get the negative correlation. But yeah, fun squad. So Samaje Perine's not really going to be anything super relevant for fantasy. You've got a bunch of handcuffs here, which is fine. Obviously, you had no idea Jordan Mason was going to be starting, so there's no way you could have slotted him into that spot, but you'll be able to do that this week. Overall, I like the squad. Running backs need to be improved.
There's a question kind of relating to this squad here. How can we not panic on Deontay Johnson?
So the whole entire deal with the Deontay Johnson thesis is, look, this is a new regime, right? We've got a young coach working here, and they just had a terrible start. The game literally started with a 60-yard bomb to Rashid Shaheed, and then immediately after that, they go out there. Bryce Young throws a pick, and the momentum just continuously goes towards the New Orleans State side. There's no chance for the Panthers to get any win in their gales. So to me, I'm just like, okay, if that's kind of the case, let's look at the numbers beyond this. They weren't able to connect. Was there a target share, something that could be kind of coming back? What we saw with Deontay Johnson was he had a 35% target share before he got pulled, which is something I just want to be targeting because we know that Adam Thielen was on top 10 pace last year when he was with Frank Reich, and we all know Frank Reich sucks as a coordinator, but we just want to be focusing on usage more than anything because that typically leads to higher scoring weeks on average. So I wouldn't be dropping Deontay Johnson, but to use your priority on likely or save it, I would save it. I think there's going to be somebody else that emerges down the season. We just haven't seen it just yet. Picking up Kraft, yeah, I like Kraft a bit, but Malik Willis is not a guy I'm super in on. For this team, I would just be trying to improve the running backs, though. Your receivers are absolutely sick. The running back depth will definitely emerge over time, but I would just be trying to increase these running backs. But Jackson, Grant, do you mind walking these guys through how to get their teams rated and sending a Discord link for them?
Grant, could
Yeah.
you pop the link in the YouTube chat? How you do it is you just click the link that Grant is about to send, and then once you're in the Discord, you can also see it on the screen too here, DM at Jamario Moon. Once you're in there, that's me, to get your team reviewed, and then just follow my instructions once you're in my DM.
Right on. All right, with that said, moving on to the next team here. All right, so we got Lamar Jackson, Isaiah Pacheco, Bijan Robinson, Mike Evans, Michael Pittman, Kyle Pitts, Calvin Ridley. So I really just don't like starting Calvin Ridley this week, to be honest. It's just I don't like it without Deontay. Like, I think that some of the best defensive situations are going to be targeting the Titans without Hopkins for the short team. Should you trade A.J. Brown and Walker for Connor and Garrett? I think you were talking about this team here, correct? Let's see here. You're saying Connor and Garrett?
No.
I probably wouldn't do it for right now. Like, the thing is, there's a lot of upside with Walker. It's just like Connor is going to like phase out over time. He's just going to have a really high scoring game this weekend. It's all about like, can you also have like handcuff here?
I mean, both of your guys looked arguably better than the two you're trading for, so there's no reason to overreact.
Yeah, but looks and matchups are also a completely different thing. Like, he went against the Broncos. Like,
For sure.
that's one of the worst, like, best running back matchups there is on the whole slate. But
their secondary got torched last year too, and the Seahawks still made an effort to run the ball a ton, which is a sign to look forward to.
It's positive, but they also got 2 safeties because their offensive line was so great. So moving forward, we've got Lamar Jackson, Isaiah Pacheco, Bijan Robinson, Mike Evans, Michael Pittman, Kyle Pitts, and Ridley, like we were talking about here. I like the Irving for the long term. Baker, I don't really see the point on this team when you have Lamar Jackson. But it does correlate with Mike, so I do like that actually.
I like
BTJ's
Brian Thomas
fun.
more than Ridley.
Yeah, this needs to
for
be
the
here.
foreseeable future at least.
Let's see here. Let's see. Yeah, I like the squad for the most part. The running backs are fun. He's going to have his spike weeks. Bucky should come along over time. If anything happens to Kyron, Blake Corum becomes a lot more enticing for fantasy, and that offensive line is in shambles, so that could happen sooner than later. Tajay, they said they want to get him more involved. We'll see if that happens. I like this one. Fun team. 12-man standard. I don't know if Pittman's is good for standard, unfortunately. Yeah, you might need to be finding somebody else for Pittman for a consistent replacement, realistically. But you look for the Tennessee receiver. So if Hopkins gets out there, then Ridley might have some life. But that's really about it. But it won't open your Discord for some reason. I'll let them help you with that one. Let's see here.
I don't know. Do we think we need a new link, Jackson?
Did you already pop one?
I sent one in there, but I guess it
Okay.
isn't working. I don't know.
Yeah, I've got a few people DMing me right now.
Okay.
Oh, shoot.
Maybe it works.
Sounds good. But yeah, let's see here. So we got Jared Goff, Josh Jacobs, Bijan Robinson, Deontay Johnson, Rashee Rice, Trey McBride. You got Ramondre here. Unfortunately, lost Puka for the short term, so this team would have been sicker with him, obviously. Bengals defense this past week was supposed to be a good start, but unfortunately, that was just wild. Yeah, I like the squad a lot here. It's really strong. 12-man half PPR. I wouldn't really move on Jacobs. Like, they're going to still commit to the run, and he got a good bit of usage. I like him still, realistically. No real reason to pivot off of him. They're very committed to him.
He looks good in the second half, too. The first half was very concerning, but he started to break open some chunk plays and stuff in that second half. He looks a lot better.
Yeah. Ramondre is kind of fun, I guess, for now. Like, that's the only guy I would be trying to use as, like, a pivot piece, just because it's like he did have a really good week 1, and some people might be trying to, like, ride that high. But
yeah,
that's about it. You didn't
can't
have
bench him now. Yeah.
That, like, popped off on your bench, unfortunately. Like, it would have been nice if JSN or, like, Bateman potentially popped off here, because then it's like, oh, you can pair that for something elite, hopefully. But that didn't happen. But I really like the squad overall. Like, it's really sound. If anything, you want to improve your quarterback, especially since there's, like, no correlation for him. But, like, he's going to be a lot of high-scoring situations, hopefully.
You have enough to get by without Puka for a few weeks, too.
Yeah, awesome.
I think you should be fine.
Now we got Purdy, Achon, Mixon, Adams, Hill, Mandrews, Reed. So I'm actually not that worried about Manders. I think he's probably a buy low in the market right now, willing to take that chance. Shakir's fun for upside. Reed's stock is down for me, but I can't tell how much he's going to get used in the run game because that just seems to be the thing. If you go thin at running back and you have a guy who can be out the backfield as a receiver, you're using him a lot more.
Wait, your opinions on Reed are less than before week 1?
Well, yeah, you don't have Jordan Love anymore. You have Malik Willis.
I mean, yeah, fair. But
Yeah.
I mean, long term, he's still like you can.
You can
Dobbins in the flex and
put Dobbins in for this week. Put Jaden Reed on your bench.
Yeah,
or
that's what
put
I'm saying.
Shakir in.
The one thing that was worrying though was, I mean, he made the most out of his looks 100%, but it wasn't like the target share was anything crazy. I mean, it was kind of like a Xavier Worthy type game where the plays he had, he broke them long and it made his stats look crazy, but he wasn't like catching passes on every drive, which is kind of more what you would have wanted to see, I guess. But I mean, you'll obviously have taken that week 1 performance.
100%.
I traded McBride and Daniels for Laporta. Thoughts?
I mean, what quarterback
Daniels and who
have is the question mark.
I think this is the guy that had Kyler that I was talking to you about.
The reality is not having McDaniels is fine, but it's you're kind of trading something that is similarly priced right now. There's McBride and Laporta both could just go for 30 fantasy points this week, but their usages are going to both be great. I really don't mind it because I like Laporta more long term, just because I really like the offense that he's attached to. But for all I know, it's I just like Laporta as a potential number 1 option. But McBride's going to be a lot of fun this weekend. When I was building a lot of my lineups last night, trying to get a feel for the slate, I'm in love with this Rams Cardinals matchup. So
it's gonna be fun.
Cooper Kupp, wide receiver 1, give him 2 tutties this weekend.
Yes, sir.
Let's see here. Caleb Williams, Saquon, Joe Mixon. So probably some of the best run game right now. Dameon Pierce is a great one to have. 12-man dynasty. You have 3 first-round picks next year. Get ready to learn to Tyra McMillan, my friend. Let's see here. Achon, Chase Brown, really
3
fun.
first-round picks next year. Wow.
Let's see here. Receivers are fun. Diggs is aging out, so you have somebody emerging, and then you have Daniel Jones, Lobby, Steele, Cooks. Worth is nothing. I would see if for players like Cook, the things that my buddy taught me how to do is try to sell these guys that are literally going to be worth nothing, and see if somebody will buy them for a 4th rounder, because people really undervalue 4th and 3rd round picks, and that's how you can get Pukas and whatnot. Because you never know.
Jordan Mason, you could
Jordan Mason's going to be going in the starting category here for Chase Brown here, it looks like.
Yeah, but you also could sell on that, I think.
That's true. You definitely could. My Kings, Jamari Thrash and Xavier Wheeler. Let's see here. Eric Hall, that's a really fun tight end stash. Luke Musgrave stonks are down. Fun squad, fun dynasty squad. You got a lot of great starters and then things that could break in the right way. Tank Bigsby looks like he could be emerging as a lead back in Jacksonville. So that's another running back swinging your way. And then if anybody's ever willing to buy Daniel Jones, so specifically after this weekend, if he has a good game, I'd be trying to see if I could get pennies on the dollar, because I just don't think this is going to be the best year for him. I like this dynasty squad a lot. It's fun. I think Mark Andrews is going to get better as the season progresses too. I wouldn't overreact too much to week 1. ADP has a tendency to be more efficient than not. Let's see here. BB1. All right. Kyler, JT, Kyron's fun little game stack for this weekend. Scary Terry, I like him this weekend. Kamara, fun. Ingram, fun. JK, fun. Let's see here. Deontay, Jacoby, Darnell, Deshaun Watson, Raiders. Yeah, I like the squad. As you guys know, I wasn't the biggest JT guy in the preseason, but I think he's in a good matchup this week because they're going against this Green Bay squad that's just going to get decimated. So I don't mind selling high after this weekend on JT and trying to get another running back. But that's really about it. I like the squad, and Derry, you can improve your receivers another tier forward. That would be probably the correct recommendation. Just to try to get to the super elite ones. Kamara is a sell high candidate in my opinion as well, just because these are gonna. I don't see him lasting the whole year behind this offensive line. This matchup was a bit of a fluke. Just because it was Carolina and they suck. So that is a reality. J.K. Dobbins, sell high candidate. So you have a lot of different pieces you can pair here. I like all the pieces you have, but it's more about pairing them to get even higher tier pieces. So like the squad. Not too much else to be said. Moving on. Kyler, Achon, Walker, Chase Wilson. Love the receivers. Running backs, fun. 12-man PPR. Okay. So do you have Deontay? Marquise Brown really doesn't hold that much value in my opinion. Brian Thomas Jr. I like him a lot. He can put in your flex there over Ramondre. And then, Kenneth Walker's fine. It's all about how you want to kind of play out your running back room. I just want to be tiering higher. I just have concerns with the offensive line. That has been my concern the offseason and continues to be it further. And basically, my whole entire thing is like try to get to Bijan, try to get to Brees. Those are your guys that you want to be getting to. Or buy low on CMC because once he's back from this Achilles thing, it'll probably be a beast. Moving on. All right. 10-man, A-Stone. All right. We got Caleb, Etienne, Jones, Adams, Jamar Chase, Ferguson, Cooper, Neighbors. So Cooper's a guy realistically you want to be moving on from. There's just so many analytics that point towards this just being a bust system for him, bust year for him. Deshaun Watson's also just all right. Do you think they just came up with that whatchamacallit, that story to be like we don't want
no.
I feel like that just came out randomly. Like
You
I'm like
think the Browns.
yeah, like I feel
them
like that got
put
like
out?
re-leaked. I feel like that got re-leaked or something, and then it's like, all right,
It's very possible. I mean, personally, with Amari Cooper, I would wait a week to sell just because, like, you're getting him at terrible value where the quarterback looked awful, the offense looked awful. Like, I think in order for you to get anything for him, you're gonna have to wait a couple weeks. So I would probably hold on just because it's gonna be not a very successful trade finding situation if you attempt to do it now. Unless there's people that are like high on them and want to buy the dip, then go for it. But I would just be a little cautious because you probably used decent value on that pick, and I would wait another week or two.
Speaking to Ferg, the question was, what should you do with Ferguson? So go get Colby Parkinson off of waivers this weekend. You can drop Marquise Brown. Like he adds zero value to this team, realistically. Your other handcuffs and stuff, I think, are more than valid. But go get Colby Parkinson. Put him in your tight end slot. He's going to get a lot more usage. The reason I like Colby Parkinson, and here we'll just do a quick little. I'll pull him up on Sleeper real quick, just because all you want to be looking for more than anything with these tight ends is snap share. Like that is your favorite thing more than anything. And the biggest boost for Colby here is the fact that he's got an 88% snap share in week 1, and he got 5 targets for 4 receptions for 47 yards. That's not bad, especially in the past week that we had. I think that's a top 5 tight end, honestly, which is kind of wild given the week. But if there's no Puka, the volume has to go somewhere else. People are going to be trying to debate between Tyron Johnson and Demarcus Robinson, which one of those guys probably will pop for what it's worth. But I'm expecting a much bigger usage for Colby Parkinson right now. Like he's got 88% snap share right now. That is awesome for this guy. So, and what is supposed to be the also best game script this whole entire weekend, I really like Colby Parkinson for a flyer this weekend. So if you are stuck in your tight end spot here with Jake Ferguson, I'm not sure if I can say your name correctly, but Viraj, that is exactly what I would be doing. So going back to this though, Tank Dell for Deontay. No, you want to keep Tank Dell, man. There's these Texans receivers, they're going to just rotate in terms of who's going to go for the 30 fantasy point game. It's just going to be a rotation of who's going to have an awesome one. But moving on here, let's see here. Another Jake Fergie squad. So same deal, what we talked about with Colby Parkinson. Really, really, really like his setup for this weekend. Let's see here. New Year and Grant still hasn't learned how to wear his hat. What? Who's Rob? Rob's going crazy.
I don't have that.
Pitts over Parkinson, though? Yes, Pitts over Parkinson. Let's see here. Did you have Pitts on that squad and I just didn't see it? No, you did not.
I think so.
Let's see here. Caleb, Etienne, Jones. So, yeah, your running backs are definitely going to need some help here. This was a great game script for Aaron Jones, but it's not ideal. So, he's a sell high candidate. Etienne, I would try to move off of this, honestly. I wouldn't be surprised if they're moving more towards Bigsby. They've been talking them all up this whole entire offseason. I didn't believe it, but it seems to be the direction they're going. I'd hold on Zamir White. I think Grant and Jackson pointed out, great, that it was basically going to be a negative game script that negatively affected him. You meant likely. I'm really not sold that Likely's going to be that guy again right out the gate. He's probably a more than fine guy to go with. I just think Colby Parkinson's going to ultimately be the most fun option this weekend, but I think Likely is the technical target. But I'll look at projections and I'll have charts out for all of you guys later this week on what exactly we like the most. I would still go with Adams over Terry for the flex. And what should you do with Jordan Mason? Probably start him. But with that said, I like the receivers here. Tight end, we talked about how to go through that. Love this. We talked about Amari Cooper. what to do there. Scary Terry. Yeah, so basically you can honestly take like Scary Terry and Amari Cooper. Like the thing about Amari Cooper is he like has wide receiver 7 usage right now, which is ridiculous. Just can't get targets towards them because Sean Watson sucks. But yeah, like I'd be trying to improve your running back room more than anything, especially if like Keon Coleman pops. Well, I probably don't want to actually sell Keon Coleman if he pops. Probably want the rookie upside at the end. Yeah, like I would just be really trying to improve the running back room. Like that is your biggest liability right now. I would be dropping Lockett. I would be picking up Jaleel McLaughlin, and I would or Audric Estime because like one of those guys is going to pop. Jaleel out carried and out targeted Javonte already on the weekend, so he seems to have a lead spot. But yeah. All right, moving on to the next one here. We've got Caleb Williams, Jonathan Taylor, Kyron Williams, Drake London, Malik Neighbors, Trey McBride. So same deal with the Jones. We talked about how he's a sell high candidate. D-Hop's going to be somebody that's slowly coming along here. McConkey, Scary Terry, Jalen Polk, Khalil Shakir, Brian Thomas Jr. Let's see here. I'm not against Jaden Reed. I just think that Demarcus Robinson's going to have more targets and just more like upside for that specific game. Like the reason I like that game so much, just to kind of take a slight deviation, I guess, real quick, is because when we look at just like game totals here, like ESPN's nice enough to just do something simple as this. We just want the games that have the most likely environments more often than not that encapsulates the best players. But we also see randos go off in that game. This is projected to be the one of the highest scoring games. I think it actually might be the closest highest scoring game, where Arizona's becoming more and more favored by the Met. They were even this morning. But 50 points are supposed to be going in this game. I really like targeting this game in general. This is going to be a lot of fun. You get Kyron, who's dropped 40 on them before. You get Cooper Kupp, who's going to be the wide receiver 1 for fantasy this week. A lot of good spots. But moving back. So, yeah, you got Trey. This is a fun inside game stack. JT is going to have a great week as well because he gets to go against the Packers. Sell high here. Love the team for this week. Yeah, it's just a really, really strong team. And he got Zeus. So that's always fun. Yeah, not really much else to be said outside of like you can technically take a step forward with your running backs, but like I think they'll be fine. I like the upside you have also at your flex. I'm not sure if I would probably consider putting Khalil Shakir over Aaron Jones this week, though. Got to look into yeah, I don't want to go against that 49ers run D with Jones. Too much of a low on piece for me. All right. Jaden Daniels, Devon Achon, Jared. So this is he might go for 40 fantasy points this week. It's going to be a funny matchup. Rashee Rice, Garrett Wilson, cracked receivers. Let's see here. Deontay Johnson, I'd move over here. Flex spot, I would put Jordan Mason. And that's how I'd adjust here. Algier's a fine handcuff. Trey Benson's a fine handcuff. If anything, like you can technically make your receiver stronger, especially since this is a 3-receiver league. Like I'd be trying to even take another step further from Deontay Johnson and Jaden Reed. But you need to have them have pop games. So I like your options here a lot. I like how you build it. Oh, yeah, Brian Thomas. I'm blind. Yeah, fun squad. Really, really fun squad. I like it a lot. Not too much else to be said. Moving on. Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, 2-man stack. Love it. Garrett Wilson, James Cook, Tony Pollard, Evan Ingram, Deontay Johnson, JSN, Judy, Douglas, Dowdle, Stafford, Nika Chubb, and then TJ Hawkinson. So 2 IR spots. That's fun. Struggling with running back and flex positions. You did really well with running back to a degree. James Cooks just didn't get the touchdowns on this one. I think he had the usage, if I remember correctly. But yeah,
just fine.
I think you just need to like theoretically tier up, if anything, but it's going to take you a little bit of time here. Nobody's going to be losing their mind over Mario Douglas. Jerry Jeudy had a decent game, but the name's not really sexy, so people won't go for him.
JSN was terrible too.
Yeah, JSN just didn't do anything. You can always tier down from quarterback. Like that's the thing that I like to do if I'm ever stuck. Because you can really get like high fantasy quarterback points at really cheap cost. It's all about knowing like what are the better matchups.
Yeah.
So even though you have Jalen Hurts with AJ Brown, which is a great stack, like you can always people will pay a high price for Jalen Hurts because of where he goes in drafts and how much he can really bring you on a given week. So you can always tier down with him. Elite quarterbacks are just probably the easiest way to tier down because positional like skill, these are all like the most difficult to replace. Running backs has a lot of contingent value as well. But yeah, that's kind of
JSN was mostly just Lockett getting 6 receptions, right? eating up his usage.
I think so, but
Yeah.
ultimately,
Yeah.
that offense just didn't really get a lot clicking until the second half.
Yeah.
It was interesting to watch. Let's see here. So 8-man dynasty. Oh, this will be interesting. All right, let's see what monstrosity you have put together.
Whoa.
So Taxi Squad, fun. I don't know if I'd have Adonai on the Taxi, but yeah, this is a crack squad. There's not really much to be said. Like, you have some of the best prospects just chilling on your bench. Like, yeah, I don't really know what else there is to be said about this team. It's a really well-built dynasty team. You have all the different facets built. Nice capital probably allocated. You got a lot of upside swings that are handcuffs for one another. You have two of the best mobile quarterbacks for fantasy, which are each worth multiple firsts. Like, it's a really, really strong team. Let's see here. Would you trade Reed, and who would you target on the previous team? I believe we were talking about this one, is my assumption. I would be open to trading Reed, but it all depends on what exactly we're getting back in return, right? So it all depends what your league mates are really willing to give up for. Like that's kind of the best way I can answer that question. There's no other way to really put it. Like, I have to know what they're giving. I'm sure Jackson and Grant probably have some better ideas for realistically equivalent values for somebody like Jaden Reed at this moment in time. Yes, it is Jamaro Moon. You send the message to Rob.
Can we put that link in?
I honestly feel like it might sound a little bit like a stretch, but I feel like going for like a Tank Dell through Jaden Reed isn't like out of the question right now. Like,
I think you could pull that off.
I think that's a fun way to go. Yeah.
I sent one of my league mates today, J.K. Dobbins for Mark Andrews. I'm curious if he'll bite.
Ooh. Yeah, I like that a lot.
Because people are like really forgetting. It's like, I don't know, J.K. Dobbins is supposed to be really good, now. So we never know.
I need to start sending out my Amon-Ra trades in my local league.
Like, are you worried about Amon-Ra?
Yeah, exactly.
Are you open to selling?
Yeah.
Dan, Deshaun Watson is not expected to go in the NFL's commissioner's exempt list. The Browns are pissed.
Damn.
It's Joe for the Browns this year. Let's see here. All right, Kyler, Jordan Mason, Aaron Jones, 10-man PPR. So you filled in with Jordan Mason. All right, Pittman. You have McCaffrey on your bench. You have the hedge. That's good. Oof, you just got hit with an injury bug this week, my friend. I'm sorry. But regardless, like, you do need to build up your running backs. This is a spot where you can use Jaden Daniels or Kyler Murray, whichever one you want to realistically pursue. And tier up this backup running back. I think having McCaffrey is fine, but like, you need to tier up this back running back. Aaron Jones had a great week. He's a sell high candidate. No problem, Augustin. Hopefully that was helpful. Yeah, like Chris Olave, like, you probably need something a little bit more consistent for the receiving options. Cortland Sutton had like top 3 usage this week, just didn't connect, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, I like the squad overall. I'm a big Ingram guy. Like, Jackson kind of sold me on that as the season progressed. I was like, honestly, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, hopefully that week 1 doesn't reflect the rest of the season, but as I'm not thinking it will, based on Kincaid and Laporta also having mediocre performances.
All right, moving on. We've got 12-man PPR. You're worried about Jacobs. I mean, yeah, it's fine to be worried about the short term. When Jordan Love theoretically comes back, the offense is theoretically going to be competent again. The usage was good. He had some really good breaks in the second half of that game. We like that. Kyler, Achon, Chase, Kupp, Laporta, Deontay. I like the squad a lot. Fun squad. Your running backs at depth here is fine. I would realistically, you don't need Tua for this squad. You just don't. But like, yeah, I would be trying. Gosh, I would just be trying to like upgrade like your flexes, if anything, in theory. That's really about it. It's a really strong squad. I like it a lot this week. You're gonna have a really good week with Cooper Kupp facing off against Kyler as well. So yeah, it should be a lot of fun. I like it a lot, my friend. Moving on. All right, let's see here. We've got a question from him first. 10 team, you had a question. You're number 2 on waivers. Someone wants me to grab Baker for them, and they will trade me Henry, Diggs, or DJ Moore. Who should I take, and or should I use my waiver on someone else? So if you grab Baker Mayfield, you get to trade them for any of these players, Henry, Diggs, or DJ Moore. If that's the case, I'm taking DJ Moore. Like, that's easily the best player on the board. Like, I love Diggs, but like this was, I want to be taking chances on him. I love Diggs, but it's just gonna be short-term stuff for him. He's gonna have spike weeks more often than not. I like the usage of DJ Moore, especially if like the Odunze thing ends up being like serious. Like DJ Moore's usage is gonna skyrocket. But let's see here. Let's actually look at the squad. I like your running backs. They're strong. Yeah, this is a really, really strong fantasy squad. There's not really much to be said. Yeah. If anything, you can technically improve your running backs, I guess. But, like, that's really not much either. I don't know. Just really, really strong team all around. Not really much to be said. But, yeah, if you're theoretically getting Baker Mayfield off of waivers for them and they're willing to give you DJ Moore for them or any of these guys, like, that's smash. Correct. Yes, I would be trading Baker Mayfield for DJ Moore every single day of the week. That's just this. Okay. Moving on. Joker 10-man, you picked up Rashid, Jordan Mason, unlikely. You also played Mason, but then got rid of him. But now I'm going to get him back just in case. If your league mates let you get him, because I think you go to bottom of priority in waivers. But yeah, it's a strong squad. I don't think McCaffrey plays this week. I need to post the clip of Schefter saying that like he's doubtful for this week. See if that gets any views. But yeah, it's a strong squad. Kyle Pitts, good usage. Rice, love him. Mike Evans, yep. Terry McLaurin's gonna have a good week, I think. You don't have BTJ here, unfortunately, less Puka, so it could have even been even more cracked. Yeah, I like the squad. Well played, sir. Well played. Fun squad. Jerry Judy. Can't stand him, but Brock Bowers. Do you think they're going to get him in like Rogaine commercials?
They might. That would be funny.
Let's see here. I've got Anthony Richardson, Achon, Robinson, Neighbors, Rice, Laporta. This looks like a team I would build. This looks like almost like a team I drafted. Yeah, I love this team. This is like something I'd pretty much draft outside of the Caleb Williams part. Yeah, really like the team. I like the upside. This is literally something I would build. So, cheers. Moving on. Like, I think this is like same team. Right on. All right. So, I think it's oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think I might have just added a duplicate slide and not added anybody to the last. I think we actually have one person trying to get through here, or two.
Okay, perfect. Because I want to get that Contender Series one going as well. Thoughts on Marv for the rest of the season? I'm not worried about him. He's a buy low candidate for me.
Do we want to rank some dudes for week 2?
Let's do contenders, and then we'll do that more tomorrow. Chase Brown or Bucky Irving rest of the season? Let's do Bucky Irving. Let's see here. Just because I'm like collecting some stuff and trying to see like what else we can find. That way we'll have some projections too to play with. But yeah, that's really about it. Jackson, let us know if we get this one going.
Okay. I think I'm getting it sent right now. There we go. So I don't know why, but this person doesn't seem to be able to send me a picture of their starters. So I'm just going to list them off in the notes here.
All right, sounds good.
They have a screenshot of their bench, not their starters.
Yeah, I'm going to talk to this trade and see if it gets figured out in that time. My concern about Deontay, what's the outlook with Bryce Young's poor performance? It's one bad week. It happens. You have wild variables that occur each and every single week. A lot of people drafted Chris Olave early in the second round, and he had, 2 points or something like that. Marvin Harrison Jr., I think, had 1 catch for 4 yards or something like that. Like, I'm not going to really be too concerned about a week 1 performance. I'm more confident that they're going to emerge down the stretch. Thoughts on this trade? You can send your whole team if it makes more sense, but Achon in London for CD and Shep. Yeah, that's why we do the team reviews here on YouTube. And if you haven't already, we'd appreciate if you dropped or subscribe. We'd appreciate it a lot. But not, so be it. Hopefully we're entertaining enough. But I know you guys are going to want to subscribe for tonight's information about the Contender Series because Jackson is going to cook. He already told me that apparently there's 2 fighters that have beat Alex Pereira, which I didn't know that was a thing, but apparently it is. So
Yeah.
I get to learn about those.
Crazy stuff. Yeah, it's going to be a fun one tonight. Definitely recommend everyone tune into the pod and definitely tune into episode 5 tonight.
Sure.
Yeah, I'll get it out like just right after we post it. So
Cool. So HUD's team is up, and then looks like someone just buzzer beatered their team as
Buzzer
well.
beatered. All right.
Yeah.
Am I looking at it or here it is right here. All right, so I'll walk through this one here. So HUDs, so you've got up top. I'm assuming that's. Why is it all bench? I'm confused.
I know that's what I asked them. It's not all bench. Like some of those are their starters.
Is it like best ball essentially?
I think it must be. I asked for the format, but
okay. I mean, I like the players. I just don't know about the slots that it's fitting in. That's kind of the part. Like, I wasn't a Gus guy. Chuba laughed in my face. That was a terrible call. I really like the team. I just can't tell you much about it because I don't know the format or anything with this. Like, I'm assuming it's best ball by kind of how it looks. Discord invite is expired. Okay. Let's see if we can get a more updated one then. Because it's been working for a lot of other people here. But
okay, we got another one on.
Let's see. Let's add this here. Nix or Minshew, probably going to lean towards Bo Nix for mobility this week. He had the highest speed according to Next Gen Stats. Let's see here. All right, Spartan Dog. Burrow, Mixon, Robinson, DK Metcalf, Jaden Reed, Sam Laporta. I'm not a big Zay guy. Unfortunately, they lost Puka. Rome is a fine late swing. I'm not a big Zeke guy. I don't really see the appeal there, realistically. Demario Douglas, I can understand the upside swing there. Ty Chandler, I get it. It's a strong team, realistically. Unfortunately, Jaden Reed lost the value without Jordan Love. But you can put in Deontay Johnson or Zay Flowers. I would realistically encourage trading out of Zay Flowers just because he's not going to be seeing what you want consistently. You lost Puka, which obviously was more of a help for you in the early part of this. But I would be trying to tier up your receiver and flex here. I like Deontay. I don't mind using him as a trade piece, but you need him to pop before you trade him because it's too cheap of a value. Rome, we got to see what's going on there. Tajay just wasn't relevant out the gate, but I like the team. Just I would try to find some more pass-heavy specific receivers that don't have an ADOT of -1 yards.
Also, the last guy's team we did is just a standard ESPN draft. He just keeps them on his bench as a habit.
True. Yeah.
Wait, what?
Over that.
That's Chase Brown up top. Word. So you made fun of Grant's hat right on. It's just.
Thanks, boys.
If it's standard, I think this is a more than fine team. Like, yeah, this is still a really strong team. Like, there's just, like, you have good players. Like, that's what matters more than anything is, like, putting good players on good rosters. Like, typically creates great teams. Tampa, especially if this is PPR. Like, you are going to likely win with this roster. If anything, like, you need to build up your RB2, I'm guessing, because Pacheco is going to get some work taken away from, like, Pirine, but even that's, like, a bit of a stretch. But with that said, I think that's what we got for today. We'll be back on tomorrow to chat through some more teams. We'll walk through some basically tiers tomorrow and kind of start diving into that. We'll start getting projections together. I will lose my eardrums to Coach Speak throughout the rest of this afternoon. And then Jackson and Grant are going to walk you through the best Contender Series plays. So appreciate you all. And so try and trade Zay or Jaden Reed for the most recent team. Yeah, so those are guys I'd be interested in selling high on. I think DK, like, this is way too low of a value. He just went against PS2. But yeah. Thoughts on that trade before you dip? Which trade, Tank?
Tank and Diggs. No, that's not a trade.
That's what I'm saying. That's not him. Oh, trade.
I can send my whole team if it makes more sense, but HN and London for CD and Chubb.
I really want HN in London just because HN's value is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
I can't tell which side he has, but it seems like he has HN in London.
Yeah. Yeah, do you mind sending another Discord link before we go here? just so they can get
Yeah.
popped in for the next stream. Perfect.
Yep, and you guys can always reserve in advance for these streams. You can DM me at any point in the day, and I'll make sure to get you up on the next live.
All right. Appreciate you all. We'll talk later. And then, not worried about Atron's injury. We'll be fine.
No, it was just missing a practice because they have a short week. I don't think it's an injury at all.
Yeah. Rest your guys. Just rest your guys. We'll be back tomorrow on YouTube to talk some more of these trade requests, rank your teams, etc. As you guys can see, we got through 20 today, so that's awesome. Hopefully, get through some more even tomorrow. That link is expired. They keep saying, so I guess we'll just have to find.
Oh, I just plugged it in my browser and it worked, but I can try to fetch a new one.
Perfect. That said, subscribe if you haven't already. Hopefully, if we can get. Should you add anything on waivers? There's not really that much of interest, and I don't really know who's available on your waivers, Rob. But we'll be back tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern. Chat through that. But until then, appreciate y'all. We'll talk to y'all later. Subscribe if you want to stay up to date. And until next time, peace, y'all.
Peace.